Hi everyone, and welcome to Hi everyone, and welcome to TWF Dynamite or Might. Mike Lane, Tony Schiavotti, and Taz here, and today on Dynamite or Might, we have Gorilla Monsoon. We'll be doing backstage talking, backroom talking today. Mike today said. Mike Lane says, you got that right, Mike Lane. We have a good show here today on Dynamite or Might. We don't really know, what we're going to be doing on that show. Well, I can tell you one thing, Mike and Tony. Does the Toy Wrestling Gathering ever know what they're truly doing? Taz says, sometimes they do, sometimes they do not. And here comes someone we haven't seen in some time, here comes someone we haven't seen in some time, Here comes someone Taz said we haven't seen in some time. The reckoning down to Wrestle Dream 1 is coming up soon, Mike and Tony. And I wonder if we're going to be good enough to call it. Well, we got Jordan and Jade in the ring now. Alright, Jade says. You see, my older sister Jordan is not a skilled wrestler, or a skilled fighter, or a skilled boxer. Alright? She isn't skilled in any kind of wrestling or fighting or whatever. But then someone thought it would be so funny, thought she'd put her in the ring, and have her fight Baron Corbin, which at the end of the day she did win for a non-wrestler and non-fighter. But you see, Jade says, I'm a wrestler, alright? I'm a skilled wrestler, or skilled fighter, or whatever you want to say, overstar, whatever you want to say, it's all the same. And I'm here to tell you that I'm not going to put up with what happened. Well, you see, Jade, it was all Paulie Dangerously's doing. Or at least that's what I was led into believing. And he got handicapped by fighting Otis Drosnick. Then Baron Corbin comes on one show and he's like, oh, I don't think that was right. I would never have a non-wrestler, non-fighter in the ring. You know what's he do? He has me have a wrestling match with him. He has me have a wrestling fight with him. So, well, thank you for, backing me up, Jade, and all that things. Well, you're welcome, Jordan. You're dealing with I, a skilled wrestler, I, a skilled fighter, I, a skilled overstar, whatever you want to say, and someone out there wanted to put my older sister Jordan in harm's way. Well, I, want to know who's answerable for it. Ladies and lords, my name is Paul E. Dangerously. And first off, I had nothing to do with Jordan being put in a wrestling ring, since I know Jordan is not a wrestler, not a fighter, or an overstar of any kind. That's bullshit, Jade says. You don't give a shit about anyone or anything. All you are is some outstanding overseer for Roman Reigns, for James Uso, for Sosa Ko if we ever get him, for, I don't know, Rocky Maivia or The Rock or whatever he's calling himself. You don't give a shit, about anyone or anything. You spent most of your whole time in the skilled wrestling business playing the heel. So why should anyone believe anything that comes out of your mouth? Because I would know what I speak of. And as you say, I have been in the skilled wrestling business on and off for years. First I started out in the AWA. And then from the AWA, I started out in the SC and the CWES. And from there led me to MACW, WCW, led me to ECW, led me to WWF, WWE, then led me back to WWE. Yeah, and somehow you got lifetime work out of it, huh? But let me tell you something, Paulie Dangerously. In all your years of being in the skilled wrestling business as either a play-by-play, as a cast caller, a booker, a showrunner, a street follower, a likeness taker, or as a owner, or whatever, you didn't have any skilled wrestling skills or skilled fighting skills to speak of. So would you think it was fair when you got put in the ring all those times in the past, you know, in your first run in WWF, WWE, 2000 YL to 2006 YL, or when you got put in the ring all those times after that? Was that fair? No, it's not. It wasn't fair for you being in the ring and you were a non-wrestler, a non-fighter. Well, then why would you think it was fair to put Jordan in the ring? What, get some laughs? Ha ha ha. Well, I don't know. Here's the thing, Paulie Dangerously. See, I don't give a shit about you or the Blood Row, Roman Reigns, James Uso, Solo Sikoa, which we don't got his doll, Rocky Maivia, The Rock, whatever he wants to call himself. I don't really give a shit about the Mafudas, or the Maivias, or the Fatus, or even the Johnsons, or the Heymans. Alright? At the end of the day, you need to say you're sorry for putting my sister Jordan, who's a non-wrestler, a non-fighter, in the ring. Well, alright, Jade, I'm sorry, Jordan, that I put you in the ring since you were a non-fighter and a non-wrestler. How come I don't believe you? Why do I have a belief that I do not believe you? You know? But you see, I don't care if I don't believe you or not, because now you're going to be handicapped again. By who? Well, you're going to be fighting me, Bill Goldberg. Don't worry, Jordan. Don't worry, Jade. I got this. So, Paulie Dangerously, still up to your same shit. You know? Still playing the heel, right? Still trolling folks. Don't let them know if it's Paulie Dangerously or it's Paul Heyman that's doing whatever. The only non-Maivia, non-Fatu, non-Mafuda, non-Johnson follower, the Bloodway. Look, Bill, that was between me and Jordan and Jade, and I got it handled. Well, I don't think so. Ding. Oh! And Bill Goldberg just gave a spear to Paulie Dangerously. Or do we call him Paul Heyman now? Mike Lane says. I don't care, Tony Schiavone said. Call him Paulie Dangerously, call him Paul Heyman, whatever you want to call him beat up, Tony Schiavone said. That's not fair, Taz says. Paulie Dangerously is a non-wrestler, a non-fighter, and he's in the ring. 1, 2. He's in the ring, Taz says. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, Bill Goldberg. And Bill Goldberg was the one to get even for Jordan and Jade Long here today on Dynamite or Might. And need be, he will lastly learn his class of not putting a non-wrestler, a non-fighter in a wrestling ring or a fighting ring, Mike Lane says. Yeah, Tony Schiavone said that would be like putting a non-club ball player in a ball yard. Or, putting a non-ice ice player in an ice rink, you know. Mike Lane said. Yeah, that'd be like putting an unwrestler and unfighter in a wrestling ring, Mike and Tony, Taz says. Yeah, you could bring up and say all that shit you want, but it still happened. A non-wrestler, a non-fighter got beat up here today. That's a double standard, Taz said. Yes, it is. Well, speaking of a man who has one standard, and he does not shift from that standard, has never shifted from that standard, Gorilla Monsoon, Mike Lane says. Right, Tony Schiavone said. Thank you, Tony Schiavone, and thank you, Mike Lane and Tony Schiavone. I'm going to be talking with Paulie Dangerously here today on Dynamite or Mike. Alright, Paulie Dangerously or Paul Heyman or whatever you want to call yourself. We know you can never be earnest about anything. Gorilla Monsoon, you know, I never really got to meet you. I mean, I kind of met you in between 97 YL when WWF and ECW really started their roundovers. Yeah, you can save it, Paulie Dangerously. First off, you got to be in a ring with Bill Goldberg, a WWE Hall of Onlooker like myself. A followed you. How does that feel? First off, I think that it's a double standard, Gorilla Monsoon, that I was even put in a ring. I said I was sorry for putting Jordan in a ring, since she was a non-wrestler, a non-fighter, had no wrestling skills, no fighting skills, no boxing skills to speak of. I have no wrestling skills, I have no fighting skills, I have no boxing skills, so why is it that I'm in a wrestling ring, that I'm in a fighting ring, that I'm in a boxing ring? Well, first off, Paulie Dangerously, you had no wrestling skills to speak of, but somehow that didn't stop you from being put in the ring sundriest times in your first run in WWF WWE 2000 YL till 2006 YL. And it didn't stop you from getting put in the ring times after that in your 2-diff run in WWE 2012 YL. But anyway, hopefully you learned the class of never ever putting a non-wrestler, a non-fighter in the wrestling ring again, unless you're willing to do it yourself. Gorilla Monsoon, I teamed up with Brock Lesnar to take on Matt and Jeff Hardy. I teamed up with the Big Show to take on Rob Van Dam and Sabu. I beat Sabu with help. I teamed up with Jonathan Heidenreich to fight The Undertaker in a handicap box match one time on SmackDown. I got Stone Cold Stunnered by Steve Austin. I got put in a sharpshooter by, we should not say his name, Chris Benoit. I got F5'd sundry of times by John Cena. I got Overman hit by Roman Reigns, F5'd by Brock Lesnar, Stone Bottom by The Rock, and I got Rob Van Dam in his seat slammed in my ear once by Rob Van Dam. Yeah, but you were a non-wrestler who is put in a downside because you are not a wrestler, you're not a fighter. But you didn't stop you from putting Jordan Long in there. Was that a stunt? Was that what Pat Patterson would call a ha-ha? I guess so. Hopefully you learn some onlook, but I hardly doubt it. Well, that's my talk with Paulie Dangerously. Back to you, Mike Lane and Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for talking with Paulie Dangerously here today on Dynamite or Mike. And that's all the time we got here for Dynamite or Mike. I, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, and Taz. We hope you like Dynamite or Mike, and we'll see you tomorrow for Impact or Hit.